I was on a Super 80 aircraft headed to Dallas. We had already finished the meal service and the flight attendants were taking a break. I was standing there, I think I was eating a sandwich or something, and all of a sudden I hear this thud. You could feel it too. There was a thud, and then the curtains whooshed in behind us in the galley. I opened the curtain, looked down, and there was about a 6'4", very large African-American gentleman, about 40-ish years old, and he was bald, and he was passed out. And so I knelt down and I checked his vitals. He was dead. And so I immediately gave him mouth to mouth. And it was like when I breathed into him, it was like an orchestra, warming up, like the string section. It went in his lungs, went, it was the weirdest sound. But he came back to life. And we landed the plane, and that's it. This is one of my favorite misbehaving passenger stories, if you could call it that. I was on a plane in the middle of the beverage service. A passenger comes out of the bathroom. Let's see, he was very thin. He was probably in his mid-20s, African-American, very short hair and thin, maybe about 5'10". And he was going like that. And he had an accent, but I'm not sure where he was from. And I'm like, "Sir, are you okay? Are you okay?" And then he says to me, he goes, "I thought it was cheese." I'm like, "What?" And he takes this little bar of soap that we had in the bathroom, and he shows it to me, and there's little teeth marks in it. And it still has the wrapper peeled around it, away from it, like a candy bar. I'm like, really? I was in my early 20s, and I was on my first international layover in Paris. I was so excited. I'd been to Paris before as, a regular person, on vacation with family, but not on the job. So I wandered around with a friend, and we got lost, and finally we found a restaurant to go to, which we were so hungry, and it was called like the American, but it was a French restaurant. But anyway, it was a great meal, had a lovely, lovely time. Then dessert came out, and I asked for mousse, and they brought a huge bowl, like, the kind of bowl that you make a cake in, the batter, and you stir, huge bowl. And then they had a big spoon in it and a little tiny bowl for me to put my mousse in. It was self-serve mousse, and I made a pig of myself. It was so good. And I don't remember it being that expensive, and I think they didn't expect me to serve myself 8 bowls. I was based in Orange County at the time. I was flying for Air Cal. That's before we were purchased by American Airlines. It was just my first year flying, and I was doing the up and down flights from, I guess it was either LA or Orange County to San Francisco or Oakland, whatever. I was in the aisle. I don't remember exactly what I was doing at the time. I think it was near the end of the flight, maybe. And all of a sudden, I could feel the plane just went whoosh like this, and my knees went up like that, and then I think it went down or something. Anyway, that's just like, it went really crazy. So I asked the pilots about it later. What happened? He said, "We had a near miss. There was a Cessna plane within 500 feet, which is actually very close to our plane, and they had to immediately avert the plane, to drop altitude." Too scary. I was trying to finish the service as fast as I could. We had about an hour and a full plane of passengers, and you have to go and you serve everybody peanuts. You get their order, you give them their drinks, then you got to go pick up everything, you got to secure everything and land. Well, I was trying to hurry and get to the back of the plane after the service, and my cart, I guess, hit a bump in the rug. And the coffee pot, I was still kind of new flying. I learned later not to put the coffee pot on the back of the cart. So I hit this bump, the coffee pot, I kid you not, flipped over like a total 360, and it fell onto the carpet right in front of me in the aisle, straight, just like upright. And everybody looked and they just went, and I went, oh. Some of the things didn't work out that well though, but that one was a good story. Before I was international, I was a domestic flight attendant, and I flew from New York to LAX very regularly. And so you saw a lot of celebrities on that flight. I remember thinking, like, you know, some of them are what you expect and others are not. Believe it or not, a very funny actor that you've seen him in several things. I never thought of him as handsome or, you know, attractive, but he was so smoldering, and he was kind of flirtatious with me, and even said, I mean, his friend that was with him when you know, he went to the restroom, his friend said, he loves you, you know, and I'm like, well, I'm married. But anyway, but he was, we had a nice conversation. I did ask him to sign my little book, and well, he was one of the stars in Jurassic Park, and he's been in several other things, and I'm not going to say his name, you can figure it out. He's really tall, dark hair. In the airlines, we sometimes have to ferry a plane, and we call those ferry flights. That means we're taking it to a destination without any passengers. And I remember one such flight. We were close to landing, and we had total light instrument failure. It was a cloudy night. They were trying to land and they couldn't see a thing. So this could be a dangerous situation. They were being talked through it the best they could, but the crew told us that this could be serious and to be ready to evacuate or worse. And so I'm praying and I'm ready for landing, being prepared. And the pilots are saying, come on, baby, come on, baby, come on. And we're just like waiting, you know, what's going to happen. And finally, I guess the last minute, as we're getting ready to land, the lights come on and they can see what they're doing, and we land safely, and there's no emergency. We don't have to evacuate. Praise God. I was still fairly new at flying, and I think I was still based in LA. Our flight attendant bids just came out. That means our schedules for the next month. So we had just gotten a delay, about an hour delay out of San Francisco. And I volunteered to get off the plane and check everybody's schedules to see what they got. And everybody gave me their, you know, their bid lines or numbers, whatever. Anyway, so I went out there, and as I'm standing out there by the gate, I noticed the jet bridge is pulling away from our plane. And I didn't have anything with me except myself. I didn't have my purse. I'd left everything on the plane. And I guess they had a window of time that they said, you know what, we're going to put you out there now. They cleared it. We were supposed to have 60 minutes delay. I was out there not even 5 minutes, and I was stuck for 4 hours without my purse, bag, or anything until the plane came back and I finished my flight. And they didn't fire me. Ugh. If the smoke detector goes off in the lavatory, it's protocol for the flight attendant to go in there immediately, check for source of fire. Even if there's a passenger in there, you unlock the door, you go in, you check all around, you pull out the trash can, sift through the trash. Well, this did happen on a flight. There was a passenger in there. I unlocked the door, got in there. He was coming out. He was a Caucasian, about just under 6 feet, brown hair, glasses, and he looked a little stoned, let's just say. So I looked in the trash can and I found a syringe, matches, a spoon. Some of you know what that means. Well, I assumed that's what happened, and told the pilot that I thought he was on drugs and I didn't know if he should stay on the plane. And they said, well, if he's not bothering anybody, leave him alone. Like, what? I don't think that I was prepared to meet Audrey Hepburn when I met her, because I could hardly speak. I was just completely in awe when I met her. She was in town to give an award out to Gregory Peck, and I just saw her. She was just this beautiful, slender, braid, you know, long braid in the back, but she just was so elegant. And I just remember saying to her, I am so honored to meet you. And she said, no, I'm honored to meet you, and tell me about yourself, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, me? She was great. You know, I don't know. That's the biggest super duper star, classic movie star that I have met. That was pretty cool.